Imagine if you could finally sit down with your feet kicked up and a big grin plastered across your face, while children run in circles around you happy. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the city of Urbandale. Good afternoon. My name is Elighton Akelwo. I'm sure most residents know me as Ali. Alongside me today are esteemed council members Angeline Isvedo, who will be presenting our financial statements, and Oxanas, who will be presenting what to look forward to in our future. Together, we are the City of Urbandale's governing body. I'd like to thank everyone here for making it today, considering that COVID-19 has infringed many restrictions upon us. But bear with us today as we will attempt to do our best to make things as comfortable and straightforward as possible. We do encourage questions as this is an interactive forum. However, we would appreciate if you could hold them until the Q&A portion of this presentation. Today, we will be here to discuss with you the CCR for the fiscal year 18-19 for the city of Urbandale. Sections will include who we are, how we're doing, our financial statements, and what to look forward to in our future. We will be seeing esteemed council members Angeline Esvedo and Oxanas a little later. Who are we? Urbandale was originally founded on April 16, 1917. A fun fact about the city of Urbandale was it started as a streetcar suburb in the community of Des Moines, with only 4 coal mines and a population of about 300 people. However, by 1950s, our population more than quadrupled and we had around 1,500 residents. It has been an upward spiral from there as we've continued to grow into the community we are today. With humble beginnings, our citizens tend to feel a great sense of community pride. Our City of Urbandale's governing body includes Mayor Bob Andweg and 5 council members, including us. The City of Urbandale is based in Des Moines, which is the capital of Iowa. Urbandale is 22 and a half square miles with a population of 44,739 residents, with a 1.7% increase since 2017. The unemployment rate has fluctuated over the last 10 years, but has shown a consistent decrease over the last 3 years, averaging 1.9 in 2019. This is 1.8% less than the national average. The average housing cost is $247,939, which is 29% lower than the national average housing cost as of March 2020. Cost of housing in Urbandale has increased 27.35% since 2017, displaying this is a great investment. Cost of living is also 3% lower than the national average, and our per capita income is $44,267. The city works 24/7 to progress on itself. We are continuously evolving and bettering ourselves. However, we could not have done it without some of the residents present today. If you could flip to the second page of your CCR, I'll be talking to you about how we're doing on things such as education, safety, transportation, and crime. Everybody wants to feel safe in their community. We work towards making this better. Beginning with total crime, on average, 1,084 out of every 100,000 are likely to commit a crime in Urbandale. However, this is relatively lower to the national average of 2,489 as of fiscal year 2019. Also, according to Area Vibes, Urbandale's crime rates are 56% lower than the national average. Year-over-year crime in Urbandale has also decreased by 28%. To elaborate and get a citizen's perspective on how we're doing on things, we completed a citywide survey. 97% of residents felt safe in their neighborhood, and 96% of residents reported they were never a victim of a crime. Moving on to transportation. The city patches several city streets that are in need of repair. Aksa will be speaking on this later. 88% of citizens rated ease of travel by car positive, while only 38% rated ease of public transportation by positive. Public transportation in the city of Urbandale is provided by the Des Moines Area Regional Transit System, also known as the DART system. It is the largest public transit agency operating in the state of Iowa. It has its own complications. However, like the rest of Urbandale, we are continuing ourselves to bettering it. As of October 1st, council members Carberry Montgomery and David Russell unveiled the new DART electric bus system. It can travel an estimated 150 miles per charge And DART also offers reduced fare programs to adults 65 plus, refugees, veterans, middle and high schoolers, as well as people with disabilities. This assists in improving public transportation for all residents. In terms of housing, the average rent in Urbandale is $867, which is the lowest in the Des Moines community. However, it does not stop there. As on December 18, 2019, the rezone request of the area near May Hall Mall was approved by Urbandale City Council for the affordable housing project. We continuously seek to provide better home and housing opportunities for our residents. We value the future of our children as they are next up to run the city when we are gone. They will step in our boots and take our places and unwaveringly do better jobs than we ever have. This is how evolution works. We strive to increase the city's success by improving education, as it is essential to the well being of our city. We have a 94.4% graduation rate, which has stayed steady over the last few decades, as opposed to the national graduation rate, which was 84.6% in 2019. We boast of a 15-to-1 student to teacher ratio to ensure that our children get the most personal and educational journey possible. Overall, 90% of residents are satisfied with K-12 education within the city of Urbandale. Our capital improvements program is the blueprint that contains all individual capital projects in Urbandale. It maps out how we will sustain and improve our community. Completed projects from the CIP include the all-inclusive playground on Northview Park, Hickman Road Adaptive Traffic Signal Control System, and the Fire Station 43 pumper truck to house our 18 new firefighters. In retrospect, the city has made numerous leaps and advances to better itself with the help of all its reliable citizens. We are the number two ranked city in Iowa, 25th in the USA, and scored a 95% on livability, according to Area Vibes. 95% of our citizens are satisfied with the overall quality of life. 91% are satisfied with the overall economic health. And most importantly, 98% of residents think this is the right place to raise your children. We offer the big city experience with a sense of unity and belonging. We consider each of us here family and would never turn our backs on you. Thank you for your time today. I'll be passing the floor on to my fellow council member, Angeline Isvedo.
Thank you, Ali, and thank you all for attending our council meeting. My name is Angeline, and I will be going over the financial information that can be found on page 3 of the Citizen-Centric Report, which provides a general look at Urbandale's revenues and expenditures for fiscal year 2019. As a way of increasing transparency and accountability between the city and its citizens, the entirety of the city's audited financial reports has been uploaded onto the government's website, urbandale.org. And we encourage you, the public, to familiarize yourselves with the financial statements as you are our main source of revenue. I will now begin reviewing the revenues and expenditures of our city's financial statements. As you can see on page 3 of the CCR, the majority of our city's revenue stems from taxes. In fact, 70% of our revenues are from taxes. Most of our city's revenues have seen an increase. The highest increase in our revenues is a 113% increase in the use of money and property. The use of money and property refers to the many different ways that our city receives revenue. For example, donations from the library, police department, fire department, along with forfeited property that we receive. A lot of the revenue that falls under the use of money and property comes from police and fire retirement fund, which is from pension costs being paid. In revenues, we also see a major decrease in our special assessments of negative 68% for fiscal year 2019 compared to fiscal year 2018. The majority of our expenditures come from debt service. Debt service is simply payment and funding of interest and principal, as it is the general obligation debt that the city owes. In our expenditures, we see major increases in debt service and capital outlay. The capital outlay expenditure for fiscal year 2018 to fiscal year 2019 has increased by 51.1%. Capital outlays refers to the money used to build or purchase capital assets like buildings that our government uses. So essentially, capital outlay is the acquisition cost of capital assets. Our general government expenditure has decreased 16%. The general government expenditure is largely the supportive components of our city that keep it running in tip-top shape, like technology and human resources. The main source of revenue is taxes that our city collects from its inhabitants. And we utilize that money that we collect by allocating it to the expenditures such as public safety and cultural recreation for our city. Therefore, the money that our city collects is not going to waste, but it is instead being put to good use. When looking at the financial reports, you may notice that the city of Urbandale records Urbandale Water Utility as a discrete component of the city, because legally it is a separate component. However, it is included due to the fact that the water utility unit is being used by the citizens of Urbandale exclusively. And by including the unit, we are following the criteria set forth by the Government Accounting Standards Board. As a result of our government's mission to be financially responsible, we have received a Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting from the Government Finance Officer Association for 30 consecutive years. And we plan to continue this pattern in the future. Speaking of the future, I would like to pass the mic over to Oxanaz to speak about our beautiful city's future plans.
Thank you so much, Angeline, for the beautiful explanation of where our city placed its revenues and expenses in the past year. My name is Aksanaz, and I'll be describing to you the last portion of our Citizen-Centric Report, which brings into focus some of the city's plans and projects for the coming year as we get ready to wrap up 2020. While this has been an uncertain time, I would like to thank our citizens for keeping their spirits up throughout these unprecedented times. As council members chosen by you for you, we want to ensure that our residents are advantaged with the community structure for the challenges we may face as a society, such as the pandemic. We are part of the Tomorrow Plan, which is a regional effort focused on sustainable development in the Des Moines area. Started in 2013, the plan involves local residents and leaders in identifying potential future visions for the region in regards to our economy, environment, community, and vitality. This has allowed us to save money, utilize local talents, and prepare for future growth. As Ollie mentioned before, the city takes the initiative every year to patch city streets that are not in the best condition. The PCC patch of 2020 includes our projects to renovate several key areas. There is total reconstruction of 104th Street from Hickman Road to Douglas Parkway, as well as 72nd Street reconstruction from Douglas Avenue to Prairie Avenue, and construction of a 4-lane roadway for Meredith Drive. Many of these streets also got updated storm sewer systems and additional sidewalks. We pride ourselves in having involved citizens. We hold council meetings weekly in the evening. You can find the link to our schedule on the website provided in the CCR, as well as updates for future public events. You may also stay updated daily by following us on our social media handles, which include Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and YouTube. Our social media handle everywhere is at City of Urbandale. I would like to now thank everybody once again for coming and open up the panel for discussions. So are there any questions in the audience?
I can see Miss Elizabeth Jackson has a question. What is your question, ma'am?
Yes, my question is, where does the revenue from taxes come from?
I would like to field that question. The revenue from taxes can be seen on page 73 of the audited financial statements. There is a breakdown on page 73 of the audited financial statements that describes that the taxes that are that are recorded as revenue are, for example, property tax, hotel motel tax, franchise fees, sales and service tax, and other different revenue streams. That's where the taxes come from for our revenue. And the 10% increase that we see this year result of many different factors. In this case, the additional increments financing district revenues, the local option sales and revenue taxes being collected for the first time in Dallas County, and the increase in property taxes received in the police and fire retirement fund are some of the items that have increased the tax revenues. Thank you for your question.
Are there any other questions?
Yeah, I have two questions. First question is, what is the budget of the capital improvement program, and where does the funding come from?
I'll take this question. The budget for the capital improvement program through the next decade is $202.7 million, and its funding comes from a variety of different sources, such as general obligation bonds, which make up 29%, intergovernmental funding, which makes up 23.5%, tax increment financing, which makes up 18%, bond referendum, which makes up 16%, and several other small sources of income, which make up 13.7%. You said you had another question, sir?
Yeah, the second question is also, where can we find the CCR?
Aksa mentioned earlier in our presentation, you can find the CCR on our Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or Pinterest page at City of Urbandale.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Any other questions?
I had one question, please. I apologize if you've already addressed this, but can you please tell me when the city council meetings are held?
Yes, Ms. Galera. So for now, the city council meetings are held every week in the evenings, Tuesday evenings. You can also find the updated times on the website mentioned on the CCR, and find daily updates for even public events and meetings if they ever change. We also have direct emails listed of all the council members and our mayors on the CCR, because we always want you to stay involved. So I hope that answers your question. If you ever have questions, you can reach us directly or go on the website.
Thank you very much.
Are there any other questions? No. I guess that concludes our presentation for the fiscal years 18 and 19 CCR. I'd like to thank everybody for making it out here today, considering the restrictions from COVID. And I'd like to wish you all a great afternoon and a better night. Have a great day.
Take care, everybody.